What do the games Duck Hunt, Double Dragon 2, and Rad Racer have in common? These were just a few of the games that only earned 1 star from GameZone, the short-lived magazine that covered the British console industry in the early 1990s. When I ran an episode looking at GameZone's worst reviewed games, the reaction was fast and it was furious. Angry at the questionable picks and insulting reviews. People openly wondered if GameZone hated that many good games, then what on earth did they even like? In order to bid farewell to 2024 in the most positive way I can think of, I decided to answer that question. Today we're going to look at GameZone's best reviewed games and decide if that redeems them. But before we do that, I first need to blow your mind. You see, the first thing you need to know is that GameZone didn't have a 5-star scale like most people thought. In a nod to Spinal Tap, their scale went 1 number higher, effectively making it a 6-point scale. The regular games would fall into the 1 through 5-star spectrum, but truly amazing games would rise above the rating scale and be called, wait for it, MegaZone games. These were the best of the best, and there were exactly 57 games that qualified for this more perfect than perfect rating. Will some of your favorite 8 and 16-bit games make the cut? Find out now when I count down the 57 best games of all time, according to GameZone magazine.
It's just video game reviews!
Okay, last week Harley and I reviewed Ultra Enviroman. Whack to the curb. It has got to go. So today, we're gonna take a look at Battletoads. Rocket! That it is, I mean they got Psycho Pigs and Turbo Thwacking. And with kick fighting, surfing, babe saving, how can you go wrong? Your kid's a freak for Battletoads and these other games from Trade West. Nintendo Entertainment or Game Boy systems required.
Alright, we're kicking things off with number 1, Battletoads on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Totally amazing game with everyone's favorite amphibians, Zitz, Rash, and Pimple. Number 2, Battletoads on the Game Boy. It's just so brill, full of fun and frolics. You play one of the kickin' toady dudes in an attempt to rescue his buddies from the Dark Queen. Loads of funny animation, and with more varied gameplay sequences than you could shake a very large stick at. This is the one. Number 3, Buck Rogers on the Mega Drive. This is a smart, if complex, RPG game. From picking your adventuring companions to doing battle against the evil space monsters from beyond the end of time itself, you roleplay and game for all you're worth. Good combat, good animation, good stuff. Number 4, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse on the Mega Drive. Out to rescue Minnie Mouse from an assortment of fluffy woodland creatures, Mickey must journey through a variety of terrains to a final conflict with the aptly named witch, Miserable. The animation is of the highest standard as you'd expect from anything bearing the Disney name, and with fairly nifty sounds too. An outstanding game. Number 5, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy. Brillo version of the classic Dracula hunting game. Once again, we find Christopher Belmont heading out, whip in hand, to do his dentistry job on the Man in Black. The little screen and monotone graphics tend to be less of a problem than you might think, and the game chugs along at a fair old pace. Good stuff. Number 6, Davis Cup Tennis on the TurboGrafx 16. Who is this Davis, and why would anybody care about his cup anyway? A pretty smart tennis game in which you can play any number of countries in an attempt to win glory and adulation. With a choice of either split or single screen action, Davis Cup is, well, smart. Number 7, Desert Strike Return to the Gulf on the Mega Drive. The Gulf War makes it onto the Mega Drive. Fast and furious chopper action in the desert. You must rescue as many Americans, the good guys who believe in truth, freedom, and Pepsi, from the Arabs, the bad guys who eat babies, bonk sheep, and smell. Very simple, yet very addictive. Number 8, Devilish on the Game Gear. Somewhere between pinball and an excellent shoot-'em-up, Devilish puts you in charge of a blockout-style battle, which you must use to destroy the nightmare version of graveyards. Spook! A little gem! Number 9. Electronic Arts Hockey on the Mega Drive. Electronic Arts Hockey is amazing. Ultra-smooth animation and some amazingly detailed graphics, coupled with a highly addictive game of ice hockey, make this one game that any Mega Drive owner must have. Violence galore, including frequent punch-up combined with authentic sound, make this a dream to play. Number 10. Exhaust Heat on the Super Nintendo. Initially a rather flat and empty game, Exhaust Heat, after only a couple of plays, turned into a real gem. Fast and smooth, and with only a hint of the fabled Famicom sprite slowdown. You race your broom through all 16 tracks that make up the World Championship in search of glory and cash. Boasting a save game feature, Exhaust Heat is well worth the large cover price. Number 11. F-22 Interceptor on the Mega Drive. Yet another classic Mega Drive game from Electronic Arts. The first flight sim of any use on any console anywhere in the world. Loads of action keep interest alive without sacrificing the graphical quality. More balls than the entire English rugby team. F-22 is simply Brillo. Buy. Number 12. Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu on the TurboGrafx 16. Jackie Chan is a bit of a mega film star in Asia. In console form, he also has mega hit written all over him. A combined beat-em-up and platform game with both elements equally strong. The fighting sequences contain an impressive amount of moves from arm flails to ultra kicks. The platform sections drip with puzzles and landscapes. Add to this mix some large, sugar-sweet, and well-animated graphics, and this is definitely one for anyone's software shopping list. Number 13, James Pond 2, Codename Robocod on the Mega Drive. James Pond 007 is back in an adventure so festive that it has all but fairy lights hanging off of it. Silky smooth graphics and animation, as well as the oh-so-sweet storyline. This is up to the usual Electronic Arts standard. Number 14, Joe and Mac on the Super Nintendo. Lots of Paleolithic fun in this brilliant conversion of the classic coin-op Caveman Ninja. Take the role of Neanderthal man Joe or Mac and set out to retrieve your chicks from a fate worse than a deadly dude dinosaur. Beautifully detailed backgrounds, huge and colorful sprites, and great arcade adventure-style gameplay make this one prehistoric play that you're going to be playing for centuries to come. Number 15, John Madden Football 92 on the Mega Drive. Take all the best bits from the original John Madden game, and in other words, take it all. Improve upon that, and what you've got is John Madden 92. If you already have the original, then the high cover price might put you off lashing out the Major League cash. If, however, you have yet to get a US footy game for your Mega Drive, then you'd be advised to go with this one above any other. Excellent stuff. Number 16, Krusty's Super Funhouse on the Super Nintendo. First, the Simpsons game, and a real goodie at that. Just like Lemmings, only the other way around. Number 17, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Super NES. Stonkingly huge and exceedingly gorgeous graphic adventure. So cleverly put together and such a pleasure to play that even the most hardened graphic adventure hater will fall in love immediately. Vast playing area covered with mountains, lakes, and mazes. Masses of knights, dragons, dwarves, and a maiden in distress to rescue to boot. Well worth the hefty cover price. Number 18, Lemmings on the Super Nintendo. Brilliant conversion of a great game. Can't really go wrong with that. In some respects, Super Famicom Lemmings is even better than the original. Just as playable, just as funny, and just as mind-blowingly good. This is a true 20 cups of coffee game that'll keep you up all night. Buy it. Number 19, Marble Madness on the Game Gear. Same as the Master System version, only the screen's smaller. Number 20, Mega Man 2 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a dream game, a true stonker. NES owners should put this at the top of their must-have list immediately. Mega Man 2, unusual for a sequel, has playability written all over it. It also boasts very nice graphics and sound, which means they have something nice to look at while you play it long into the night.
Sonic the Hedgehog runs, jumps, moves, and spins at supersonic speed. And now, he's loose. He's a burst of speed, a dash of fun, a mischievous streak. He's everywhere. Because now, he's on Game Gear. And best of all, Sonic's free when you buy Game Gear. But hurry, he's moving fast. Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega.
And we're back with number 21, Mega Man 3 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yet another outing for the oh-so-sweet, oh-so-cuddly, gun-toting maniac who will blow your head off as soon as he looks at you. All good fun! Once more, you must stand up to 8 of the meanest, weirdest basts around. Strangely addictive. Smart stuff. Number 22, Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge on the Game Boy. Mega by name and Mega by nature in one of the Game Boy's star cartridge heroes of all time. Number 23, NES Golf on the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's that bloody plumber again, this time playing golf. And, galling as it is to say it, the whole thing is really very good. Over 18 holes, you get to battle either Mario himself or one of the other preset players. The best sports sim on the NES at the moment. Number 24, the New Zealand story on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Cube platforms abound down under with the sweet little Kiwi. Smart conversion of a smart game. However, unlike real Kiwis, there's absolutely no singing of rugby songs, beer drinking, or vomiting. Who needs wings when you got a game like this? Number 25, Pac-Mania on the Sega Master System. An old game, but in its revamped form, still pours beer all over the competition's heads. The aim is unchanged, eat pills while avoiding ghosts, but now it's in glorious 3D with a really blasting soundtrack. Playability is unsophisticated, but still mega addictive. A supreme arcade conversion. Number 26, Parodius on the Super Nintendo. A totally spaced out shoot 'em up with more weirdness than the game's own office. Number 27, Populous on the Sega Master System. Fancy meddling in the affairs of mortal men? With Populous, you can meddle to your heart's content. This near-legendary game shapes up well on the Master System. Putter around 5,000 words and act in a generally godly manner. A superior game. Number 28, Prince of Persia on the Sega Master System. Outstanding conversion of an outstanding game. A brilliant fence-em-up that has you as the prince racing through the corridors and dungeons of the Grand Vizier's palace in an attempt to rescue the princess. Lavish sprite movement, excellent graphics, and hugely addictive gameplay. A must! Number 29, Prince of Persia on the Super Nintendo. Classic game that's available on every single format of popular console or computer. And I mean every one. This is an utterly classic game that just goes to prove how amazing the Super Famicom is. Number 30, Road Rash on the Mega Drive. Not an unpleasant skin complaint contracted from too many hours in the saddle, but a rather nifty motorbike racing game. Far superior to just about anything around right now. Road Rash is a true must-buy for any Mega Drive owners. Number 31, R-Type on the TurboGrafx 16. What can you say about R-Type that hasn't been said before? Very little, I expect, and on the TurboGrafx, R-Type shines with all of its usual shininess. Baddies shoot all over the place with only one thing on their mind. And we're not talking about hugs and kisses here. Both graphics and sound are amazing, making this an utterly classic game. R-Type, you can't beat it. Verily a shoot-em-up among shoot-em-ups. Number 32, SimCity on the Super Nintendo. Truly the best version of one of the all-time best games around. SimCity is a true classic. Affectionately known as the Powermonger Sim, you're in full control. You build your city, balance your population, and keep the pollution and transport problems under control. A true all-nighter that'll keep you going for months and months. Number 33, Solar Jetman Hunt for the Golden Warship on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Little new in the gameplay, but the high standard of graphics and sound keep the jetpack tradition alive. Number 34, Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive. One of the best, if not the best, games around. Sonic is destined to become as famous as Pac-Man. Amazing graphics and sound combined with some of the smoothest and fastest animation ever. The gameplay is so addictive it keeps you gripped for hours. Sonic the Hedgehog is a true console classic. Number 35, Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Master System. Sonic the Punk Hog is back, and he's even better on the Master System in some respects than the Mega Drive original. Much easier and slightly slower, but with a much better playability factor over what feels like a larger playing area. Sonic will make a lot of Master System owners very happy and a lot of Mega Drive owners very jealous. And that's a first. A classic conversion, classic game, classic really. Number 36, Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear. What can you say about Sonic? More classic than a very classical thing. Sonic is Brill on every format. Some even go as far as to say that this is the best version yet. Sonic's a real star, real minty. Number 37, Speedball 2 on the Sega Master System. Excellent version of the 16-bit kill and maim sports sim. Furious and violent action makes this one of the funniest, fastest, and most addictive Master System games. It shows the Master System to be the best 8-bit machine out. Number 38, Star Wars on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Superb conversion of the classic 70s movie. It follows the plot of the film closely and stars all your fave space chums in a battle against the deadly dude Darth Vader. This huge and highly addictive arcade adventure is set across 3 worlds, utilizing 3 different kinds of gameplay, from platform puzzler to space-borne shoot-'em-up, and even includes an element of RPG. A veritable galaxy of entertainment awaits. Number 39, Steel Talons on the Lynx. Smarter than smart conversion of one of the best coin-op cabs around. Brilliant graphics, superb sound, and gameplay that gives Desert Strike a run for its money. Steel Talons is the dog's. Buy it. Okay, hang on. We're not just gonna leave that review there because I gotta know. Steel Talons is the dog's what? Look, there's a lot of British slang here that I can easily decipher. I mean, clearly when they say that something is brill or brillo, it means that it's brilliant. We've also run into a lot of things that are stonking or stonkers, which also seems to be a word used to mean good or exceptional. Honestly, I think most of us could figure that out just from all of the context clues. But we need to talk about this dog thing because it comes up a few times in this list. For example, here's the review for The Immortal, which also ends with the line, "It's really the dogs." Again, it's the dogs what? I mean, I know that some old-timey American slang certainly falls into that sort of rhythm, like when my grandmother would say that it's the bee's knees. But let me tell you, if EGM had a review that ended with "Strider is the bees," and just left it like that, pretty much everybody's going to be confused. Believe it or not, we actually do get to see this statement completed, and that's when Game Zone reviewed Super Tennis. They called it the dog scrotum, which is just a really terrible image to put into my head. For what it's worth, when I looked up that phrase, I see that it's just a softer variation on the idiom, the dog's bollocks, which is somehow more vulgar for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. As far as I'm concerned, the dog scrotum is definitely not the bee's knees.
Once you start playing Sonic the Hedgehog, everything else seems a little bit slow. Don't worry, I'll catch him.
And we're back with number 40, Super Celeste on the Super Nintendo. As yet, the best shoot 'em up on any console. Amazing graphics, amazing weaponry, amazing gameplay sums up the game and the machine perfectly. Number 41, Super Bases Loaded on the Super Nintendo. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, baseball game ever on any format. Despite some dodgy collision detection at some points, it still beats the pants off of everything else. Said it before, say it again, if you want a good reason to buy a Super Famicom, Super Baseball is it. Number 42, Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo. That dude, Simon Belmont, is on the hunt for the dude with the teeth yet again. This time on the Super Famicom. Loads of really great stuff here. Watch out for a stage in level 3 where the entire room turns through 360 degrees and you can only save yourself by hanging from the ceiling with your whip. Pretty far out stuff. Number 43, Super Formation Soccer on the Super Nintendo. Smart football sim using the same kind of view and sprite animation as Super Tennis. Maybe not the world's most accurate of footy games, but highly playable and great fun. Smooth, slick, and really rather sweet. Number 44, Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo. What do you get when you cross a near-classic arcade game with the balls-bad graphic ability of the Super Famicom? Well, you get Super Ghouls and Ghosts, of course. Bloody difficult, but incredibly addictive. It's nigh impossible to get off the first level, but means that you'll come back time and time again. Get your buns down to the local Gray importer right now, as the word on the grapevine is that it's selling out fast. Number 45, Super Kickoff on the Sega Master System. The granddaddy of all footy games makes a long-awaited appearance on the Sega Master System. Yeah, so the Master System is a bit slower than, say, the Amiga, but the sheer playability of Kickoff itself shines through. Great football fun. Here we go! Here we go! Number 46, Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. What can be said about this that has not already been said, with so much more wit and skill in this magazine? Mario 3 is simply the best NES Mario to date. Platforms and more turtles to jump on than ever before. Number 47, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. This is, according to some people, the best game ever. Massive in size, with loads of hidden levels and extras, and positively dripping in cutesome goo. However, some people have pointed out that it is a bit easy to finish, and even sins of sins that its format now looks a bit dated. But after all, what can you expect from a freebie? Number 48, Super R-Type on the Super Nintendo. R-Type is a classic in the far-off Spectrum days. Now it returns in a super-duper new form, and it's lost none of the old magic. Smoothly parallaxed backgrounds, plus zillions of detailed and colorful sprites bring the game screaming into 1991. And screaming in stonkin' stereos at that! The price and the difficulty level are somewhat on the high side. But if you're loaded with the skill and dodge, then Super R-Type is a must. Number 49, Super Scrabble on the Game Boy. superb version of the classic board game Scrabble. Simple to play, various levels of challenge, and totally and utterly addictive. Has all the essential ingredients needed for a classic. Number 50, Super Tennis on the Super Nintendo. The best tennis game ever. It really is the dog scrotum. Tennis has never been this good on the telly before. All it's missing is a Dan Maskell simulator and a free bowl of strawberries. If ever you wanted a reason to buy a Super Nintendo, then tennis must be it. This is truly great stuff. Number 51, Tax-Mania on the Mega Drive. Classic cartoon game with top-class action and animation. Quite simply, a top-class game. Number 52, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. Turtles on the Super NES, and boy do they hit it! This game has more variety and plays even better than the arcade game. A classic in the making. Number 53, The Immortal on the Mega Drive. Despite the fairly hefty price tag, The Immortal is a stonker of a game and worth every penny. The best graphic adventure available on the market, incredibly violent and gory. A true classic. Worth it just for the goblin with the exploding head. I kid you not, save your pennies and buy this game. It's really the dogs. Number 54, Toe Jam and Earl on the Mega Drive. The much vaunted Toe Jam and Earl is a bit like a Sonic House mix. Funky tunes, spaced out graphics, and rad sample speech. Pretty far out. A graphic adventure in which the Kickin' Brothers wander around collecting things in a side-splitting way. Cooler than cool, they expose Sonic and Mario to the 70s throwback they always were. Number 55, Toki on the Lynx. A game of near biblical proportion. In Toki, you run around a huge world peopled by very various creatures and try to rescue your girl. Originally on the Amiga, nobody thought it would make it onto a handheld, but it has. Number 56, Winter Challenge on the Mega Drive. Superb winter sports sim that lets you try your hand at luge, speed skating, bobsledding, giant slalom, biathlon, downhill cross country, and ski jump without having to embark on a bone-crunching Thompson's winter holiday. A sim so real you can see the peak, feel the snow, and even hear the cowbells. One of the best reasons to buy a Mega Drive yet. And finally, at number 57, Xenophobe on the Lynx. This game proves wrong the people who said that the Lynx doesn't have any good software. Superbly animated graphic adventure which will keep even the most hardened adventurer happy.
Stay calm. Concentrate on the screen. You are about to experience the future. Never before have you had to cope with advanced 3D graphics. 360-degree rotation. 96 level. 32,000 colors. Even more enemies. The ultimate challenge is waiting.
Hey, thanks for watching me count down these classic reviews. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we're always posting videos looking back at classic magazines. If you missed out on the earlier Game Zone episode, I strongly suggest you giving it a watch. It's long, but the insults are biting and full of venom. Now, here's the question I have for you. Of the games on this list, which is your favorite? Man, there's some real stonkers here, like Super Mario Bros. 3, R-Type, SimCity, Mega Man 2 and 3, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and even Lemmings. Plus, there's the Battletoads, which is the dog scrotum, or however that saying is supposed to go. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we're going to be back later this week with a Nintendo Switch Online report card. How did this year's NSO compare to 2023? Could it be that this was actually their best year yet? We're going to be crunching those numbers, so you'll want to tune in for that. While you wait, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.